Hello and welcome. My name is Emily Moran-Boat, and I am the Grants Administration Supervisor with Cal-ICH. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to compile and submit your application for HAP-4 funding. Please note that I will not be addressing how to determine the content of your application. We will only be discussing the logistics of how to make sure you have submitted everything you need as part of your HAP-4 application. If you are looking for help on determining how to use your HAP-4 funding, setting outcome goals, understanding your data, and/or completing the local homelessness action plan, please refer to the resources listed on our HAP webpage or contact us at hap@bcsh.ca.gov with your questions or requests for technical assistance. Thank you. Now, I'll start by showing how to access the online application portal and resources. Then I will show you the relevant documents that you will be working with. And finally, I will show you how to utilize those documents to submit your application through the application portal, which is developed in the Cognito Forms system. To begin, you can access the portal one of two ways, either through clicking on the direct link that was provided by email and in office hours previously, or by navigating to our HAP webpage and clicking on the HAP-4 application portal link. And directly below the link, there is a suite of resources available to you. First, be sure to download the HAP-4 Local Homelessness Action Plan and Application Template and the HAP-4 data tables files before you draft your responses if you have not done so already. So first, let's open up that Local Homelessness Action Plan and Application Template file, which I have already done. I'll scroll through it briefly now so that you can see. You'll see that it has been drafted as a template so that you can easily fill it out as if you were filling it out within the portal. This is simply just to allow you to be able to have a place to store all the information that you'll be then entering directly into the portal. So that's generally what it looks like. There's a section with all of these tables for their narratives. Okay. Now let's take a quick look at the data tables template file here. The HAP-4 data tables file contains 7 tabs that correspond to the 7 specific tables described in detail in the application template file that I just showed you. This is the file that you will be completing in full and then uploading directly into the portal. Note that this Excel file only covers the information required in parts 1 and 2 and some of the information required in part 4 of the application template. So you will need to complete additional steps to submit the narrative responses required in parts 3 and 4 by entering those directly into the online form. Switching over to the Cognito form now. Parts 1 through 4 of the application are clearly listed here with an explanation of how to ensure you provide the information required for each section. The information required in Part 1, the local landscape analysis of needs, demographics, and funding, will be provided in tables 1, 2, and 3 of the HAP-4 data tables file. The information for Part 2, outcome goals and strategies for achieving those goals, will be provided in tables 4 and 5 of the HAP-4 data tables Excel file and directly entered into the Cognito form in the outcome goals and strategy section. For Part 3, narrative responses, you will enter the responses directly into the portal and are not required to upload a separate document with this information. However, you may choose to do so if you wish. And for Part 4, HAP-4 funding plans and strategic intent, all of the information required in this section will be provided in tables 6 and 7 of the HAP-4 data tables Excel file and by answering the narrative questions in question 2 of Part 4. Note that Table 7 is only required to be completed if you are funding interim housing with HAP-4 funds. And finally, you will need to submit evidence of meeting the statutory requirement to agendize the HAP-4 application at a meeting of your governing board where public comments may be received. You will do so by uploading meeting minutes or agendas in the document upload section. As a reminder, you may agendize the item for a future meeting date, but will need to show proof when you submit your application that the HAP-4 application has been agendized, and you will be required to provide proof that that meeting took place as part of your amended application. Okay, now that we know the format of how all of the required information will be provided, let's turn to how to navigate the application form. The form is divided into 7 sections: applicant information, document upload, Part 1, landscape analysis, Part 2, outcome goals and strategies, Part 3, narrative, Part 4, HAP-4 funding plan, strategic intent narrative, and certification. And as always with cognitive forms, you will be able to save progress on your application and return to it later, as well as share with colleagues you are collaborating with on the application by clicking on this save function. Do be sure that only one person has your saved application open at a time to avoid overwriting each other's work. We recommend that if multiple people need to work on the online form, that you coordinate to ensure that the previous person has saved their work and closed the portal completely before the next person begins work on their section. Now we'll walk through a demo of completing the application. At the bottom of the homepage for the application, you will see 4 checkboxes. I have reviewed the HAP-4 statute, FAQs, and application template documents. I am a representative from an eligible COC, large city and/or county. I am a representative of a federally recognized tribal government, or I am an individual person, city not identified as one of the 14 large cities, and/or a nonprofit organization that is not a COC. If either of the last 2 are selected, there will be an error message received that will prevent you from moving forward in the workflow, as shown here. The first will direct federally recognized tribal applicants to apply through the tribal application process, and it provides a link that you can copy and paste into your browser to access the tribal application information. Alternatively, if the person completing the form is an individual, a city not identified as one of the 14 large cities, and/or a nonprofit organization that is not a COC, they will be instructed to contact one of their local eligible applicants to learn how the HAP program is administered locally in your area. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm not either of these final 2 options. So I will check the first 2 boxes and click next. On the applicant information page, you will indicate whether you are submitting an application for an individual or joint application. Note, if you select joint, you do need to be sure to add each jurisdiction that is applying jointly together, and you can select several jurisdictions by clicking on the Add Jurisdiction button. So, for example, if the city of Anaheim is applying jointly with Orange County, then you would select City of Anaheim and then scroll down to Orange County and say, just for fun, another city in the jurisdiction, or these chose to apply jointly as well, you would click on Add Eligible Jurisdiction to add another jurisdiction within that region. Also, if you accidentally add too many jurisdiction selection boxes, you can simply click X in the upper left-hand corner to remove that jurisdiction selection box. Note that if you do so, please be sure that it is blank before you click X. Otherwise, the form will still think that you are applying jointly with somebody, even if you click X, and that could cause some confusions later on. So in this, so then you will move on and you will indicate who the administrative entity is and provide the contact information. The administrative entity will be the organization that enters into contract with the state and receives the check for HAP-4 funds on behalf of all applicants listed above. This is a good point in your application to save and send yourself an editable link. Like so, you click save. It will pop up this little pop-up for you. It'll show you the link to your completed form, which you can copy. You can also have it email yourself a link. You can click send just like that. You can also enter in the name, the email address of a colleague and send it directly to them as well. We don't recommend saving the application until you have actually completed the screen, because in the event that you lose your save link, we will not be able to identify which saved application is yours without at least the applicant name. So be sure to have the applicant name at least filled out before you hit save, so that if you do need some help, we can help you on the back end and get you your submission link. So moving on to the document upload section. Here you will see 3 different sections to upload documents. First, you will upload the HAP-4 data tables as an Excel file. That is the entire file that has already been completed and saved on your computer. You will upload the entire file in its Excel format in this document upload section. Then you will upload your governing board meeting agenda or minutes to provide evidence of how you are meeting the statutory requirement to agendize and receive public comment on the HAP-4 application as previously discussed. Finally, you can upload any additional supplemental documentation that you would like to support your application. You'll click next, and then you will note that yes, you have completed Table 1, Table 2, and Table 3 in the data tables file uploaded in the previous section before moving on to complete the rest of the application. Then you will move on to the outcome goals and strategies section. In this section, you will enter the information from tables 4 and 5 that has already been completed and uploaded in that HAP-4 data tables file that you just uploaded in the previous section. So table 4 is first. And a revision since round 3 is that we added in this name of COC dropdown, where you will simply select the COC that your region or that your jurisdiction falls within. Because goals are set at the regional COC level, we are asking you to just identify which COC that is here. You'll note that we have revised other parts of the section since round 3. Some of those revisions including this goal statement, which you will copy and paste into the form, and you will only replace the information in brackets. You will then provide a goal narrative to accompany this goal statement. While in round 3, it was optional to provide additional context explaining how you set your goal, in round 4, this contextual information is required. Finally, we have added a target number or percent field, as you'll see here, where you will enter what the intended output will be when reports are run to verify whether you have met your goals. These additional fields will allow us and the public to clearly understand the intended goal you are setting. Also, jurisdictions will indicate whether each goal represents an increase or decrease by selecting the applicable radio button within the form. Please do not enter negative numbers into the application. Utilize these buttons here to indicate the directionality of your goal. You will then enter in your related goals for underserved populations and populations disproportionately impacted by homelessness in these sections here. And then you'll move on and enter and fill out all the fields for all of the rest of the goals. Then you'll move on to table 5, strategies to achieve outcome goals. Note that because there was not a set number of strategies that each applicant needed to provide, we've created the functionality that will allow you to add as many strategies as you are using into the portal. Make sure that you are clicking on that yellow box that says add strategy every time that you need to add one. And the only revision made to this table since round 3 was the addition of a drop-down to help categorize the type of strategy you are using, as shown here, where it lists out multiple different categories of types of strategies that can be used. Then click Save. Want to make sure that you're saving all of that good information, and then click Next, and you will come to the Narrative Responses section. Here, you will answer the questions by entering the information from the checkboxes in the template in the portal. In these sections, you will be guided through a series of questions with pre-programmed form logic showing you the next question in the series after you have completed the first. For question 3, we were unable to reprogram the questions to allow you to enter multiple responses, so please respond as follows. I will show that now. Question 1, question 2, and we come to question 3, which has several groups that you may or may not be partnering with, and we are asking you to report whether you are. So in this section, it will walk you through a series of, like I said, the pre-programmed logic-based questions. So if you select yes, it will first ask you, is this partnership formal or informal? You'll say formal or informal. It will then ask you, is this partnership current or planned? And then finally, it will ask, do HAP funds, so HAP funds in general, we are not asking just about round 4 funds here. We're asking about HAP funds in general support this partnership. You'll say yes or no. And then you will move on to the next one. Now, if you have both informal and formal partnerships with a particular group, please select formal. Then if you have both current and planned partnerships, please select current. And then you can clarify any of that information in this section 3A text box if you have additional information that you want to provide when describing your notable partnerships with the groups above. Then you'll move on to question 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And note that question 8 is for informational purposes only. This will not be used to determine the completeness or quality of your application. When you are done with all of that, go ahead and hit save again. Make sure you're saving every time, and then click next and move on to part 4, funding plan, strategic intent, narrative. This section is comprised of 2 main questions in the application template, the first of which will be responded to by completing the information in Table 6 in the HAP-4 data tables file and Table 7 if you are funding any type of interim housing with HAP-4 funds. And then by entering all of those responses into the online application form. The second question will be responded to by entering your narrative responses directly into the portal. And once all of that is completed, you want to make sure you click save and then move on to the very simple certification page. And here you see how it is programmed, where if you select interim sheltering, it will pop up this table 7 for you to complete. However, if you select a different category, it will not. Then you will save and click next to that simple certification page, as I noted, and then you'll simply select submit. You'll get this little confirmation page, and then you're done. So we've covered all of the essential application components about how to submit the HAP-4 application. If you have any additional questions, you can reach out to us at the HAP inbox at hap@bcsh.ca.gov. Attend one of the office hours or drop-in sessions that will occur through the end of November. And you can also request technical assistance by emailing us at the HAP inbox. Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you the best of luck in completing your application. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.